Mr. Speaker, first I want to thank the 11 members of the committee that have returned a unanimous verdict to this House, proposing the impeachment, Mr. Speaker, of the Deputy Governor of the County of Omogeni. Mr. Speaker, can I be heard in silence, Mr.
Senator Newton, Senator Newton, Senator Murango. Senator Cheptum,
Mr. Speaker,
we have taken time to read to you the standing orders, especially on how to address yourselves when you're in the chamber. Senator Newton, Senator Murango, Senator Cheptum, I give you a caution. You commit any disorderly conduct, that door is open. Proceed, Senator Omogeni.
Mr. Speaker, for purposes of clarity, Mr. Speaker, we have laid in our report at page 87, Mr. Speaker, we have attached decisions from Supreme Court, Mr. Speaker, that are supposed to guide this House on matters of impeachment. Mr. Speaker, if the House can go to page 87 on issue of impeachment, Mr. Speaker, what the court has said, Mr. Speaker, and I quote at that page, all that is required is that the allegations be substantiated. That's what the court has said, Mr. Speaker. And the charge, Mr. Speaker, that is facing the Deputy Governor of Siaya is interfering with procurement procedures, Mr. Speaker. That is the charge that he faced, Mr. Speaker. And, Mr. Speaker, if you read the report and you read even the cross-examination of Senator Chimera, Mr. Speaker, that matter was established beyond reasonable doubt, not even on a balance of probabilities, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, this House, Mr. Speaker, has set the record. Mr. Speaker, we have impeached 2 governors. We have impeached the governor of Kiambu. We have impeached governor of Nairobi. Nobody has been impeached in this House, Mr. Speaker, for committing criminal acts, Mr. Speaker. It's issues of integrity, Mr. Speaker. As we speak here, Mr. Speaker, the report that is before the House, Mr. Speaker, demonstrates, Mr. Speaker, that the Deputy Governor of Siaya wanted to interfere with procurement and prevent youth and women of Siaya, Mr. Speaker, from benefiting from procurement. Mr. Speaker, where does he want the youth of Siaya to get opportunity to do business with the county government of Siaya? Where does he want the women of Siaya to get opportunities of doing business with counties, Mr. Speaker? You cannot, Mr. Speaker, allow such a deputy governor to continue occupying office, Mr. Speaker. And if you want to draw lessons, Mr. Speaker, even if you go to the US, Mr. Speaker, President Nixon, Mr. Speaker, was forced to resign from office, not because he committed any serious criminal acts, Mr. Speaker, but because he tried to interfere with the Watergate scandal, Mr. Speaker. So what is before this House, Mr. Speaker, is evidence that has been brought to this House demonstrating, Mr. Speaker, that the governor tried to interfere with procurement that was to benefit the youth and women of Siaya. Mr. Speaker, we should not allow a person who lives in a glass house to throw stones and get away with it, Mr. Speaker. When he appeared before the committee, Mr. Speaker, the deputy governor gave us an impression as a man who wanted to fight corruption in the county of Siaya, Mr. Speaker. He protested when the youth were being given these contracts, Mr. Speaker. But on the issue of the seat of 1.2 million, Mr. Speaker, he pretended that he was never aware, Mr. Speaker. How, Mr. Speaker, I'm asking this House, do you protect somebody who sits on a 1.2 million seat? And he pretends, Mr. Speaker, that he had nothing to do with the procurement of that seat. Mr. Speaker, the Uda administration, you have told us that you want to fight corruption. Today we want you to demonstrate that indeed you want to fight corruption. If you want Kenyans to look at you as sheep in wolf's skin, we shall know today, Mr. Speaker. Members of this committee, Mr. Speaker, have demonstrated, Mr. Speaker, that we want the accountability mechanisms, the bar on accountability, Mr. Speaker, to be placed very high. There must be a beginning, Mr. Speaker. It cannot be business as usual, Mr. Speaker. When we are sitting here, Mr. Speaker, as judges on this impeachment process, Mr. Speaker, when judges pass a verdict is to deter, Mr. Speaker. They want to pass a message of deterrence, Mr. Speaker. And this impeachment, Mr. Speaker, we want to send a message either to governors or to deputy governors, Mr. Speaker, that they should never interfere with professionals in procurement, Mr. Speaker. If we don't impeach, Mr. Speaker, if we don't pass this motion, we are opening a floodgate, Mr. Speaker, for governors, for deputy governors to start making calls to professionals in procurement to interfere with procurement processes. Mr. Speaker, this...
Senator Mundege.
Bwana Spika, mimi nakataa mambo ya kutimuliwa kwa deputy governor wa Siaya.